Dave, it felt as though we witnessed a perfectly executed plan, albeit a frustrating one from Gillingham on Tuesday night. Plenty of debate around a few decisions that didn't go our way. Having had time to reflect on that game, what's been the overall consensus?
Exactly that, really. Listen, it's always tough when, as I suppose we proved, as I've said previously, when we played Leicester in the League Cup, if you want to go out with a mindset of staying in a game and trying to stop a team playing, when there isn't much between the teams in terms of individual personnel, which is the case in this league, it's always going to be tough to break teams down. When you then combine that, I suppose, in the last 2 games, really, with goalkeepers making saves, as you say, a little bit of luck doesn't go in your favour. Again, you look back at it and it was nailed on penalty on Kyle that wasn't given. Sometimes that becomes, as I say, frustrating. I suppose what we have to do is accept that there's a lot of respect being shown, and we've earned that respect in terms of the performances that we've put in and how we've been playing and what our strengths are in terms of when teams come and do certain things against us, and be able to evolve and adapt to that, and maybe, like I say, from a management perspective, look at different things, whether it be tweaking shape a little bit, whether it be being a little bit more patient, whether it be being a little bit more direct. Fundamentally, that all stops if you get the first goal. We've not managed to get that first goal, and if you can get that first goal early, then all of a sudden it does change people's potential game plan, which potentially opens the game up for us, which makes it a game that more suits what we want to be.
It takes me on to the next one. There's obviously still plenty of games to go, but no doubt you'll want to see an uplift in those results. You've a side that aren't conceding many, but they are struggling a little at the other end. Is there a balance now that you have to potentially shift between being a more open and aggressive side and one that limits the chances for the opposition?
I still think I don't think we're in any way not open and aggressive. Again, looking at it tactically, we have to look at if a team have 10 outfield players behind the ball and a goalkeeper and then half a pitch, then space is limited in terms of what you can do. That doesn't change whether we send more bodies forward. They've still got 11 players behind the ball, and we've got to, I suppose, do better to try and create better opportunities. Like I say, that comes in different ways. Again, I think even within that, there'll be, if that's the case, that's what we're going to come up against, then I think our set pieces become more important. I think in the last 3 games they've been off. And we've not looked as threatening in terms of our delivery, not been up to standard, and we've not got first contacts. But again, in terms of us being open and aggressive, nothing changes. I think you look at, like I say, the last 2 games where we've been at home and not scored. We've had our centre backs joining in at times, overlapping our wing backs. We've been aggressive in how we've gone about it. We just haven't provided that moment of quality. Or teams have, again, you have to give teams credit. Teams have defended well against us, which has been the case in the last 2 games.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, Colchester have appointed a manager who we've already come up against this season in Ben Garner. Do you expect his side to have already adapted a similar approach to that of Charlton's, or will this be a totally different prospect?
It'll be a different prospect because ultimately you've got to work with the players you've got. It will be, I suppose, similar scenarios to when I came in here. First things Ben will be looking at in terms of, he'll have a philosophy and a style that he wants to put across to the team. That will take a little bit of time, and it will be implementing little things that potentially give them a better chance of picking up more points. So I don't expect wholesale changes in terms of how they go about it. I expect there to be, and we've got to expect, little tweaks, things that might happen in a different way. But from his perspective, I would imagine that it would be, like I say, not wholesale change, little tweaks, looking at what he's got in the building and what he can sort of work with an eye on improving over the back quarter of the season, and more so looking towards next season in terms of the makeup of his squad and how they can potentially improve on that. They'd already made signings through January, which has changed, like I said, the dynamic a little bit, and I've not picked up great results, but having watched the last sort of 3 games, performances-wise, have deserved more than what they've got. I've been in every game, went to Bradford and conceded in the 93rd and 96th minute to lose that game when the game looked like a 0-0. So we expect a tough game with different elements, weather and things involved in what may happen. But like I say, we've got to focus on us, and I suppose focus on the bits in terms of adapting to what the game looks like. And if we do that, we'll be fine.
You said it there, they're a side that seems to be encompassing those fine margins that you mentioned, losing, like you say, their last 3 narrowly and more favourable results prior to that, again coming just thanks to a goal here and there. Are you expecting another tightly contested fixture though tomorrow?
I hope not, but I expect that from their perspective, they'll be doing everything they can to prove to, like I say, a new manager that they want to be part of what's going on there going forward. And like I say, at home, in front of their home fans, they'll want to put on a performance. So I expect a tough game. Again, whether it's a tight game can depend on lots and lots of things. Can depend on mistakes, can depend on ruthlessness, can depend on, like I say, a little bit of luck going in your favour. So, like I say, we just got to, like I say, focus on our performance. Think about the things over the last 2 games where what we can improve on, if that's the nature of the game. But ultimately, go and play what's in front of us. And like I say, if we do that, we know that we're more than capable of going there and getting a win, something which, again, is important in any part of the season, but especially coming into the last 11, 12 games, if you like, becomes really important. And hopefully that'll be the case.
Well, I believe the team coach is waiting for you outside, so I was then by asking, are you travelling with a fully fit squad bar the long-term omissions?
Yeah, pretty much. There's only Joe Grayson. It won't travel, so he has picked up a little bit of a cough. He had a niggling problem at the Rochdale game. Obviously, he couldn't be involved against Barrow because it's a parent club, and then has felt something after the game on Saturday. So he won't travel. Aside from him, everybody else will. So like I say, we're in a good place in terms of bodies. Yes, some are a little bit shorter than others in terms of match minutes, but we hope that'll change over the coming weeks, and we can go into what is the running with a fully fit squad. If we do that, it certainly gives us a better chance than having players out.
Dave, have a safe journey and all the best.
Cheers, thank you.